I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome to Board Game Breakfast. This is it. This is the beginning of the convention season. This is the beginning of the Gamma Trade Show. This week we're going to be going to the Gamma Trade Show, which is kind of an industry show. It's not really open to the public. It's for retailers, it's for distributors, for publishers, designers, and I guess a few members of the press. So we're going to be there this week, and we're going to be reporting from there. And I'll talk a little bit about, we're going to be doing live streaming from there, and hopefully get a lot of stuff that we'll be bringing back and you'll be seeing in upcoming weeks. We're also going to be tweeting from there and hopefully doing some Instagram. So check out Instagram at Dice Tower, or on Twitter at The Dice Tower. This is a good way to follow along. We're going to find out a lot of news this week. I have some news I'm going to get to in a bit, but I really think we're going to find out some cool things that are happening in the board gaming industry this week, and we'll have a chance to talk to some people about different things and maybe find out more. If you missed this past Saturday, we had a live playthrough with Rahdo, where Richard Ham from Rahdo runs through. It was very fun for all of us, and hopefully it was interesting to watch, especially if you watch our Resistance games. That was certainly a Resistance game unlike any other that I've played. But it was a lot of fun, and Richard was a really good sport. And you may see him pop up here and there in the future. Who knows? But I do appreciate him, and maybe you'll see him also next week running across our screen in live videos and so forth. Hey, folks, anyway, I am really appreciative of you guys watching this channel. It's, there's always that lull, in January, February, March. You're like, okay, we're taking a look at a lot of games that aren't interesting and flashy new games. The flashy new games are here. And this is the week for it. I'm excited. Let's get to the news. Okay, first of all, let's start by taking a look at this picture here. This is of Tyrants of the Underdark. This is a new Dungeons and Dragons game, but it's not the same as the other ones. It looks like it's kind of a combat style game. I hope that it's good. It looks interesting. Hopefully we'll be able to play and test this one out soon. Hey, Cryptozoic has announced they're making a game based on Ghostbusters 2, which has a lot of people treating that with scorn, but I like Ghostbusters 2. Wizards of the Coast, this is big news. They're reprinting Robo Rally. Yay! I love Robo Rally, but even more excitingly is that this is a Robo Rally redesigned by Richard Garfield. So he's streamlining it, it looks like. Now, let's hope the components are up to snuff. Hasbro's not been really good with that, but still a streamlined Robo Rally. I'm first on board there. Osprey has a new game called Let Them Eat Cake card game. This is a game which you're divvying up the cake that Marie Antoinette left behind. It's an interesting theme. Bezier Games has a new game coming out. This game looks really cool, folks. Colony. This is a city building game. Looks like it's in the future. Ted Ausbach has designed a very good city building game before, Suburbia. Hopefully this one follows through on that one. This doesn't look like the same as Suburbia, though. It looks like a very different game, but I just like city building in general. Atlas Games is making a game called Fast and Fatran. I hope I got that name correct. This is a racing game with Cthulhu involved because, hey, this was a genre that didn't have Cthulhu in yet. We had word games and we had storytelling games, and apparently we have a disease game coming from Z-Man Games. Cthulhu this, Cthulhu that. Is no one yet tired of this guy? He'll never be able to conquer the earth because we'll be so sick of him that when he shows up, we'll be like, get out of here. Plaid Games has announced all the second summoners for Summoner Wars. Summoner Wars, there's lots of different factions, and they made second summoners for many of the factions, but not for all of them. Well, the last 8 will be coming and being released at Origins. Yeah. At the same time, they're taking pre-orders now for the new Dead of Winter game, The Long Night. And if you do that, you get a promo for Rich Summer, which really does look like Rich Summer. I probably should be nicer to him. Stronghold has let loose a new game that they're coming out with. This is one of the, I guess, the ones that we talked about last week where they to be announced. But this one's called Dragon and Flagon. How does that go? If the flagon is in the dragon, the poison's in the pestle. I can't even remember the phrase. But anyhow, this is designed by the Engelstein trio, Jeff Engelstein and his 2 children. So I look forward to trying that one out. Let's see. And Cool Mini or Not has acquired the rights to Sheriff of Nottingham. You may be wondering, how does that affect me or the Dice Tower Essentials? Well, it doesn't. What essentially happens here is that Arcane Wonders was licensing Sheriff of Nottingham from Galapagos, and the designer, well, Galapagos sold them to Cool Mini or Not. Cool Mini or Not is still going to be licensing to more Arcane Wonders. It's still going to be Dice Tower Essential game. But it does mean that Cool Mini or Not is slowly expanding, as you can see them doing. They just released a public year in review where their income last year in 2015 was $17.2 million, and their growth is just really shooting up there. I would say it's very comparable to the growth chart that Fantasy Flight has shown us, which is very intriguing. They also just hired Jules and Ruby, the sales and marketing. These were very folks that were highly placed in the Asmodee company, and due to restructuring there are no longer with them, and now with Cool Mini or Not. It's interesting. Where is Cool Mini or Not going to end up? Well, maybe we'll find out some more of that this coming week. So that's some of the regular board game news. Suzanne, what's happening in the Kickstarter world?
Happy breakfast, everybody. Here's a quick look at what's happening in our crowdfunding world today. Set in a dystopian future, Grifters has you taking on the role of a crime boss who's doing everything they can to steal as much money as possible from basically everybody. To accomplish this nefarious goal, you get a hand of cards that represent your team members, each of whom has a special ability. You can play these cards on their own to take advantage of those abilities, or you can group them together to accomplish jobs. But this hand management game has a cooldown mechanism, which means you have to be quite clever in how and when you play each of those cards, because it's going to be a few rounds before they return to your hand. Games set in indie boards and cards dystopia tend to have beautiful art, and Grifters is no different. The game also includes some nifty promos like player boards that won't be included in the retail edition. A pledge of $25 will get you a copy of this clever-looking game. There's just about a week left to pledge for the standalone expansion Evolution Climate. In Evolution, players create and customize different species vying for survival, whether it's by snagging their share of food at the watering hole or by chomping on other species that taste yummy. Climate iterates on the evolution formula by adding the climate track, so now you have to fight against the land itself as well as your competitive species, which means instead of just fangs and speed to worry about, now you have to deal with extreme hot and cold. Climate shares the same phenomenal art that the previous Evolution games have, and a pledge of $55 will get you a copy of this game, which already includes a bunch of unlocked stretch goals. But if you already own Evolution, there's also a pledge level for a conversion kit so that you can play Climate with your existing game. Tau Ceti is a 1 to 4 player 4X game in which you play alien species vying for influence in the newly formed Planetary Alliance. Players can add to or help conquer planetary crises, gain specialists with a wide range of abilities, you can complete a variety of different missions, or even upgrade your ship so that you can fight against other players. For those of you who don't know, or like me, can't always remember what those X's stand for, they stand for explore, expand, exploit, and exterminate. And in Tau Ceti, you get that 4X game, but they have what they call an a la carte rules system, which will allow you to customize the game experience a little bit. A pledge of $49 will get you a copy of the base game, but the premium version that includes some nifty starship figures is $69. Action Phase Games has had quite the busy year already, and they've just launched the campaign for Return to Darkmoor, in which you play a Dark Lord who has failed in your attempt to storm a castle. So you and your minions are fleeing and trying to find a hideout. Each player gets a deck of cards that represents your minions, and you take turns putting minions in line at different locations. But when there are too many minions somewhere, then that attracts the hero's attention, who then comes and conquers the last minion in line. Meanwhile, the other minions will escape into the hideout, which will then count for the area control of that location. The strategy in the game comes from all the special abilities that are on each minion, hero, and location that will allow you to manipulate all the powers and placements. The game is pretty cutthroat with lots of planar action, and it has art from the very talented Jackie Davis, so everything looks great. A pledge of $19 will get you the base game, but if you pledge $24, you will also get a promo mini expansion that will not be available at retail. Okay, that's all I've got for you this week. Until next week, play all the games.
Hey Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel.
Jason Levine.
And today we have a question from a listener who says, do you like Dice Masters? I mean, yeah, we like Dice Masters.
Do I like Dice Masters?
No, he knows that. There's Marvel Dice Masters. There's DC Dice Masters. There is Yu-Gi-Oh! Dungeons and Dragons. Your favorite, I think, is Dungeons and Dragons.
So far, Dungeons and Dragons.
You think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles will beat it?
Probably not,
Okay,
but
I don't think so either. But the question is, and this is a question we get asked a lot, so I figured we'd throw it into our question of the week, is if you could get other properties into Dice Masters, what would you want?
Star Wars. Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars. Nothing else. I don't care what else. I want Star Wars. I want a Luke Skywalker die. I want a Darth Vader die. Star Wars. That's the answer, plain and simple.
See, since I consider Star Wars an impossibility, I will say G.I. Joe. I think G.I. Joe would be a lot of fun to throw in there.
Yes.
Transformers.
Transformers would be amazing.
And if we're going to start going with weird older ones, I'll pick Voltron, in which you put the dice together and they become one big die. They like all click together. Okay, come on, that's just being weird. Mask. Remember the TV show Mask?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Mask. So those would be the properties that I would pick. There's a lot of, I mean, the game in anything that you can have teams of people fighting each other. You could bring in any of the Konami Street Fighter stuff.
I think one that I could actually see WizKids doing based on their licensing would be something based on Star Trek.
Possibly.
Because they do Attack Wing already.
But Star Trek wouldn't make sense so much thematically, unless it was like a separate game and wasn't really in the same universe. I could never see it.
It could be ships. It could be a whole bunch of different ships.
That's what I'm saying. That could work on its own. I wouldn't see that like...
It wouldn't...
You could take Enterprise up against Spider-Man.
But you also bring in a gelatinous cube against Doctor Doom. I mean,
I could see. I could see Doctor Doom like, hey, there's a gelatinous cube in my throne room. I'm taking it out now.
Yeah, and I could also see Doomsday in space, and then here comes the Enterprise.
You're right. I can see Doomsday in space, but I can't see Batgirl in space.
But Batgirl's on the Enterprise fighting Captain Kirk and Spock.
Actually, WizKids also has a license for a lot of horror things, so maybe they could do a horror set sometime.
A horror set where, like, well, I mean, I don't know if New Line would give away all the rights, but I can see, like, Freddy versus Jason versus Michael. That would be kind of a cool theme.
Who knows? Anyhow, those are just our thoughts on that. Of course, that's just wishful thinking. Star Wars won't happen, but you never know.
Star Wars still is the one I want.
All right. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel.
Jason Levine.
Send us questions at dicetower@gmail.com.
Hey there, this is Mike with the Board Game Makeover. In this episode, I'm going to show you how I supersized Ticket to Ride 10th Anniversary Edition just so I can use Thomas the Tank Engine minis. Let me show you what I did. Ticket to Ride 10th Anniversary Edition included an upgraded larger map of the USA and upgraded custom trains for each player. I used the original cards and the train tickets in the game and only switched out the trains and the board. The new Thomas the Tank Engine mini collectibles trains from Hasbro come in many different variations including Spooky, Robo, Old School, Racins, Chillins, Villains, Metallic, Dinos, Christmas, and DC Superheroes. They are the perfect size to use in any supersized map of Ticket to Ride. The bottom of the trains have a square indented area which helps the train stay in place on a map. To distinguish the trains and players apart, I changed the wheels of many of the trains to correspond with the main color of their body. When playing the game, a player is either red, blue, black, green, or gray. Each player has a special golden Thomas with their corresponding wheel color to use on the scoring track. I drilled a bolt into every track on the map, then added 2 nuts on the top. The nut size was perfect and dual nuts hold the trains without them falling off the board even when the board is on its side. Each nut and bolt had to be aligned with each other and with the track so the train, when attached, would run the correct way. This makes the board an excellent art and conversation piece, as well as an easy way to invite friends and family into board gaming, starting with the supersized Ticket to Ride Thomas the Tank Engine version. Giving Ticket to Ride a board game makeover was definitely the most time-consuming and expensive project that I've done. But in the long run, I've got a 4-foot by 6-foot Ticket to Ride game that uses Thomas the Tank Engine minis. Thanks for watching the Board Game Makeover. We'll see you next time.
A few years ago, one of the most disappointing games ever came out, and I mean miniature-wise, and that's Level 7 Protocol. The game was fantastic, but the miniatures were so bad, some of them you couldn't even play with. They were just so warped, and they wouldn't even go back if you tried to remold them in hot water. So when I heard that Omega Protocol was coming out, I was quite skeptical, and I wonder if this pushed you guys away as much as it pretty much almost pushed me away. So why don't we open it up and take a look and see how these miniatures are. Well, much to my surprise, after opening up, the new game comes with 16 miniatures, and as you can see, they're on a much thicker base. Still a little soft, but nothing warped. A thicker base, a harder plastic, it almost seems like. Level 7 Extreme Prejudice, the expansion for Level 7 Omega Protocol. Finally, I think they got it right. And Privateer Press is a miniatures game. They should have got it right the first time. The first game was just impossible to play with those miniatures. They were just so bad. I opened up 3 sets in the hope of getting something that would work or salvage something out, and every bunch was really bad. So when this came out, I was hesitant, but I went and got it because it is a great game and you should support it. And just know that when you pick this up, you're going to end up with some really beautiful miniatures in it. They're very nice. I give them a 7 out of 10. That's it this week for the 101. We'll see you next time. I'm Rob Warren.
This week? Well, not a lot of reviews actually, because of us going to Gamma and we needed to prepare for that. There's a lot of preparation, but there will be some other videos going up this week. There's going to be the alphabet, 2 alphabet videos from me, my favorite games from different letters of the alphabet, and we did our top 10 card games. So keep an eye out for that coming up this week. So all that's coming this week, but that's not much. But that's because on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, from around 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are going to be live streaming from Bali's Hotel in Las Vegas, the Gamma Trade Show. And we've invited every company there to come and show their stuff. Not every company's taken us up on the offer, but many have. And so we have a fully packed schedule. Now, you might ask, where is this schedule? Well, I've deliberately not posted it yet. We're going to actually post the schedule after we do it. And the reason for that is many times there's changes made to the schedule, and I don't want to say, hey, this is going to be happening now, and it doesn't. And I also want to be able to have a flexible schedule, so if someone comes early, we can do them. And I don't want you to be saying, oh, I wanted to watch, Asmodee, and then they came at a different time. So we're just going to be running it, and you'll be able to go back and watch stuff that's already been happened, and the streamed stuff will stay up on YouTube, so you'll be able to see that there. This is truly a horse thief. But anyhow, so keep an eye out for all that. We hope to see you guys. You'll be able to maybe interact a little bit with us live as we do this. And also you can find, of course, all our podcasts and all that other stuff on our website at dicetower.com. See you there.
Where do you play board games, and why? Chaz Marler from Pair of Dice Paradise here, continuing to ponder what impact Asmodee's upcoming policies may have on physical and online board game retailers. Now, while I may be critical of Asmodee's proposed plans, there's actually portions that I agree with. For example, I concur that audiences of niche markets, i.e. board games, have a growing need to connect with people that share the same interest. Asmodee's plan appears to be to encourage new customers by incentivizing the game gatherings and events in thousands of independent hobby game stores worldwide every day. In short, to attract people to game stores with tournaments, demos, and events. Now, I've run a board gaming meetup group for about 2.5 years. In fact, the very first Head in the Clouds segment listed all the different places where the members of our board gaming group came from, with about 11% of members finding it through local game stores. Gaming events in my town are held primarily at several different locations, not only in game stores, but also at a community center, cafes and restaurants, a hotel ballroom, and a local lodge. And based on our meetup group's attendance records, events held at local game shops seem to consistently have the lowest attendance. One of the reasons for this may be that there's an unfortunate stigma associated with game stores as being cramped, unkempt, and inhospitable. And this stigma may present a challenge for any group that wants to use game stores to stimulate customer growth, including Asmodee, whose plan focuses on in-store gaming events, demonstrations, tournaments, and organized play. Are demos and events at game stores really going to draw in the new customers that Asmodee seeks? I mean, if we want to see local game stores transformed into places that old and new gamers gather, setting up tournaments and giving out prizes may not be the answer. If an organization really wants people to start hanging out in game shops, perhaps the investment should be put towards renovations like new carpet, paint, lighting, and, in some cases, training staff. First, transform the game stores into environments where people want to spend their time, and then you'll truly have new people partaking in your tournaments and demos, instead of just catering to the same half-dozen gamers who would have shown up anyway. Now, is the condition of the gaming environment more of a draw than the special events that take place in that environment? Honestly, I don't know. But I do suspect that the answer to that question may be the same as the answer to the one that I started with. Where do you play board games, and why?
Oh, hello the internet. I wasn't expecting you so early, but welcome. I just wanted to give you some update here on the Board Game Breakfast that I am in the throes, the heights of my top 100 games, which I hope you're watching, otherwise on the Dice Tower. Last week we did my numbers 80 down through 61, which comprised my Hidden Gems games, which are games which have never appeared on the People's Choice Top 100 ever. And then my Confusticate and Be Bothered games, which are my games which are very thinky and very, very heavy, require a lot of brain power. This week, we're going from 60 down to 41, which will comprise my I Love the Players and You Love the Game games. Little Taylor Swift there for those people who think that I can only make references to Marvel Comics or Star Trek. And then after that, we have my Goldilocks games. And these are my games which are just right. Anyway, I just finished the first of those videos. I got to hurry back and finish that second one today. But I want to take time to do another BGB segment. Thanks for your help and support. And we will see you on the internet.
Hey everybody, Steve here, back with another AFR 2 Minute Drill. Some exciting news from over at Board Game Geek, where they're having the nominations for their 10th annual Golden Geek Awards. And 2 games that have a sports theme are actually being nominated. First, Bottom of the Ninth from Dice Hate Me Games, which ran a successful Kickstarter campaign last year, is up for a nomination for Best 2-Player Game. And also up for nomination in the Best 2-Player Game category is Mike Fitzgerald's Baseball Highlights 2045 by Eagle Griffin Games. Along with the Best 2-Player Game, Baseball Highlights is also nominated for Best Card Game, Best Solo, and the Innovation category. So very excited to see both of these games featured in the award nominations. Hopefully they'll pick up a couple of them, but just being nominated, I feel, will perhaps broaden the appeal of those games. Perhaps some players will pick those up, having missed them before, and also this will lay out the groundwork for future sports-themed games to be recognized in the general gaming public. So maybe we're still a few years away from seeing a pure sports simulation game being nominated for an award, but definitely I feel like this is a big step forward, and looking forward to continuing seeing more coverage of sports-themed games in the industry. Alright everybody, that is all for now. For all of your sports game coverage, you can tune into the AFR channel every Tuesday evening for all the news there. And until then, my name is Steve. Get out there, have fun, play games, and I'll see you after further review.
Hello and welcome back. My name is Niels, Cyril's Brettspiele, and today in the best and the worst we are talking about Aya from BlackRock Games. My favorite part on Aya is by far the domino mechanic. I have never seen in a game this complexity of dominoes, except for the original domino, of course, and a time pressure to build up your domino ways here, the waterways, the river structures, and then it all goes to this one final moment after 20 minutes, after 10 minutes, short break, calm down, then another 10 minutes, comes all to this, brilliant moment of highlighting. Everybody is working for exactly this one moment. However, exactly, if you don't have people in your group, they are so enthusiastic or at least involved in gameplay and a little bit in what's going on and sitting there totally lame and saying, okay, what's going on? Yeah, okay, 10 minutes, that can crush the whole theme, the whole authentic atmosphere for me. But for me, it all comes down to one final moment after 20 minutes. That was my personal favorite part of Aya. And what is your favorite part of Aya from BlackRock Games? Please note it and think about. Niels, Cyril's Brettspiele. See you next time. Bye bye.
Folks, since we are now going into the Gamma Trade Show and we're starting off for a year, I just want to talk a little bit about the Dice Tower Kickstarter and kind of give you an update on where we are with changes in the Dice Tower. If you saw our live playthrough with Rado, you saw Derek, who is coming on board full-time to be a video/audio editor. You're also going to see an increased presence from us at different shows, like at the Gamma Trade Show this coming year. This coming week, I will be there. Eric Summer, Sam Healy, Z Garcia, Chaz Marler, Suzanne Sheldon, from both Suzanne and Chaz, who I both met because of this show, will be there, and Jason. And so hopefully we'll have a good presence there and get out a lot of different content. Every once in a while we'll do something and there will be some inevitable comment, hey, these guys got $250,000 and their battery went out. That's inexcusable. And for that, I apologize, although I will say that I've been at many very expensive events and they seem to have problems with audio. But I'm not trying to make excuses here, but I am trying to say that what we are is we are constantly seeking to improve at the Dice Tower. And if you don't believe that, then just go back and watch our original videos and you'll see that. The money that comes in, which does get spent pretty quickly, is really put into making this better, where we get new computers and we get new and better signs and backgrounds. I'm really excited about the getup that we have for Gamma. I'm in the middle here of packing everything up. We have new tripods. We have that overhead camera, which seemed to work really well at the thing. And we have new microphones. We don't have all of them yet. We have a few of them. We're going to be testing them at the Gamma thing this week. And hopefully if those microphones work, we will have fewer microphone problems than what we've had in the past. But I have to say that these changes and things will take place in increments. And so you're going to see our graphics get better. You're going to see our sound get better. And you're going to hopefully see us get better. We're constantly learning. And as you can see here on Board Game Breakfast, I'm always willing to try new things. There are different segments that we'll try. Some people like, some people don't like, but usually I like them. And that's why they're on the show, because I try to make this something that I would want to watch myself. And I know that we're not going to please everybody, but I do want you to know that I'm trying to always be pushing the Dice Tower to the next level. We honestly could probably run the Dice Tower by just using laptops, maybe get a camera and just stream and run on a budget thing. But I'm always trying to make it just a little bit better. A little bit better. What can we do next? And these things take place slowly. I mean, again, if you take a look at our top 10 list that we do now compared to our first top 10 list, there's a very big difference between those. Our audio show sounds a lot different than episode 1 sounded. So I am not just saying whatever, we're not rolling in wealth. We are actively working and trying to budget it out so we can go to the different shows this year. We're going to more conventions this year than we've ever gone before. So I hope to see you, and I hope that the content this week is good and useful. Now, I do want to clarify, this week we will be streaming from Gamma, but we're also recording at Gamma. And the recorded will be better, hopefully better, much better quality than the stream. The streaming is kind of you're there, you're just like standing in the background and you're kind of watching what goes on. And then later on, the weeks after that, we'll be publishing our videos with the 2 different camera angles, which will hopefully give a better quality video that you can see. And also you can say, I want to see this company's video, boom, it's in one spot. And I'm very excited about that, but it's going to take some learning things. We've never used these mics before. We're about to find out how they work. We have a brand new camera. We have new traveling lighting that we're taking with us. So I want to thank you all again, because the Kickstarter really has been a boon for us, that we can use this stuff and buy better equipment. And hopefully by the end of 2016, you will say, yes, there was a very noticeable difference in the Dice Tower than there was at the beginning of the year. That is my hope and my goal. I ask that you have patience as we have these, changing pains. And I certainly will always take ideas, many ideas that you guys have suggested. Like, for example, Week in Review, which, by the way, there is no Week in Review this week. You'll see it next week. Week in Review was an idea that a listener suggested. The news, there's just been different things that have been suggestions that we have taken and implemented into this show and on our channel in general. Rob has come on board with doing painting and different things like that. So hopefully it's all for the better. Thank you again. I can't wait to get into this week, so I really probably should get back to packing. Hey folks, today we're going to be taking a look at something different. This here is my daughter Violet, and she's going to show you what we have here. This is a meat pillow, or a meeple pillow. I don't know what it is. What do you think of these? Okay, so you don't think anything at all? What do you think of these pillows?
They're Stop, and I named them.
Oh, you named them. What are their names?
This one is Muscleman. This one's Disgust. This one is Minion.
This one's what?
Disgust.
Disgust? Is this from that movie?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Here, let's see. We've got more. There's many of these meat pillows in our house. What do you think of the meat pillow?
I like them. Like a pillow for a pillow.
A pillow for a pillow? Okay.
I have a lot of pillows.
Here, throw me that black one. Okay, so we got 4 colors so far. All right, anyone else? What do you think?
I think it's a great travel pillow.
A great travel pillow.
Yes.
All right, so this is the purple one. All right, let's see the blue one. Any more thoughts?
I like the pillow a lot. It's comfortable and it's really soft in my opinion.
Yeah, they really are soft. I mean, this is the kind of thing that you would buy, obviously, for somebody who was a gamer, right, and you don't know what to buy them. I'd get them one of these pillows, but I really do like them. I would keep one myself, but I got one for each kid, and there was none left for me. I think I like the black one the best, but they do look sharp, and they seem to be good quality. So that's the meat pillows. They're also incredibly excellent for hitting people with. Ow!
Hello, my friends. I'm Professor Hans von Puppet. Today we'll be taking a look at a Euro-inspired area enclosure worker placement bluffing game, which is heavy on downtime, but still gateway-ish and fiddly, with an expansion that adds a Chinese auction rondel system combined with...
Hello. Today we'll be talking about deck building. And deck building can be 2 things. It can be where you build the deck before you play the game, or a game where building the deck is part of the game. So in, for example, Ascension, which I have here, every player starts with the same identical 10 cards, and they look like this. They have 2 different monetary values. We have runes and we have combat. And those 2 are the only ones used in the base game of Ascension. On my turn, I can use these cards and play with the runes here to acquire more cards and put them together with these into my own personal discard pile. Then I draw new cards from my draw pile, my own draw pile. If I need to draw more cards from my draw pile, these cards here will be shuffled and become a new draw pile with the new cards that I bought previously rounds. So this way I'm building the deck within the game. There are many popular games using this mechanism, and, well, we have Ascension, of course, and Pixel Lincoln, and Legendary Encounters, or just Legendary, plain old, and even Big Book of Madness using deck building, and Mage Knight, and Dominion. The other kind of deck building is when you have literally hundreds and thousands of cards to choose from, and you can pick and choose from these cards and build your own personal deck before the game begins. So this is my customized deck, which I'm going to use to beat the game or beat you if I'm playing you. So these are two kinds of deck building you have in the board gaming world.
Well, I hope that cleared things up for you. Until next time, have fun gaming.
This is a 2 to 10 player cooperative zombie survival simulator. You are on Sunset Island, one of the last safe places on Earth, when, guess what? Oh, turns out it's not so safe after all. Now you have to get off the island. Players are either humans, there are 9 different characters, each with their own special ability, or you are the zombie. And if you're human, you are trying to collect food, water, and gasoline and escape the island from either the marina, get on a boat, get to safety, or get to the airfield, get on a plane, and fly to safety. If you are the zombie, you're trying to eat everybody's brains. Fairly standard. The game uses an action point system, but unlike games like Flashpoint or so on, where the action points are rigid, in this game, you roll a die, and that's how many action points you get if you're a human being. The more stuff you're carrying, the fewer action points you get, so you have to balance encumbrance versus being able to get away from the zombies that are chasing you around the island. We got sent something, now you're gonna get sent something. One of our Twitter followers, follow us at Snakes and Lattes, is going to be randomly drawn and receive something from our prize vault. Now, in order to qualify, you not only have to follow us, but you must also send us a tweet using the hashtag SnakesandLattes, stuff my mailbox, please. One lucky tweeter will be drawn to receive a prize. The contest will close on the date that is magically appearing on your screen right now. Hopefully our animation guy can put it in the right spot. Otherwise, I'm going to look like an idiot. So remember, that hashtag is Snakes and Lattes, stuff my mailbox, please. And you must tweet at us at Snakes and Lattes. And you must be a follower. So there we go. That's the contest. That's the game. Thank you, Straker. And good luck surviving the zombie apocalypse.
All right, that's it. Tripods, check. New signs, check. New tablecloths, check. New cameras, check. New tripods, check. None of that means anything unless we have good content, so it's time for us to hit the road. Literally after we are done posting this, we're posting it earlier, you won't see it because it won't show up till Monday morning. We are getting ready and we are traveling to the airport and we will be taking off and landing in Gamma. Watch our Twitter feed, watch our Instagram. It's going to be a lot of fun. I really plan to run myself ragged there, getting as much information for you guys as I can. It is the beginning of the year for 2016. Great games are on the horizon. Keep an eye on our channel this week. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast.
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast. Tune in each week for your daily dose of gaming goodness with Tom Vasel and all the gang. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast, a Dice Tower production, sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., an amazing place to buy board games. Cool stuff, in stock, at CoolStuffInc.com.